Parents have kids that are bullied, they get a warning, right? And then parents are held accountable, right? And I guess the bullying kind of stopped, right? That kind of helped, right? So we want to come help support you in that mission because there's only 3 anti-bullying communities in all of the United States. How about give North Tonawanda a hand? So at our first summer camp, we had a very special student. Her name Anna Rose was one of our students here. She is circled right up, proudly holding her certificate. And for the last 2 camps we've done, she's come back to practice her leadership as a mentor. So, Anna Rose, would you come up here, please? And we have a second mentor, Emily Ford, who has jumped in, and she is a college student. She is working with the Parks and Rec for 5 years. She loves kids, right? And she fit perfectly in to mentor our students. How about a hand for Emily? Come on forward here, please. Like to officially give them a Character GPS recognition for this, and we have a picture taking, so we'll document this. It really is happening, right? All right, thank you very much. So all of you, when you graduate from Character GPS, you can come back as a mentor and continue the learning as a leader, right? But our leaders are not dictator leaders. Our leaders are servant leaders. So our mentors have been serving cookies and popcorn during our movies and all sorts of things because as a leader we serve. And we have 2 great mayors as an example of being servant leaders. So we really appreciate that. So our mission, we started 12 years ago, Character GPS, because we felt that our kids needed tools to be successful. I was a vice president of human resources with Raymond James, a financial company. Has her name on our stadium down in Tampa, Florida. We paid $1 million for that, right? So I had 10,000 employees, and it was nice to make a lot of money. But we were concerned about our future. And our future is who? Our kids. We need great future leaders. So we designed this program so we can equip them now to build the habits to be leaders and then have wonderful focus and direction, help other kids along the way as mentors and role models, and we're going to see again how they can take a stand against bullying. So all sorts of great things, because when you know the truth will set you free. We know that, right? Okay, very good. So Ms. Debbie and I, we are passionate. My wonderful wife, we're a team, partners, working together. And of course, when kids find out that we're married, they want to know, like, they want to know, of course, some things like, so we share a lot of relational things, and so we're so glad to have all of our parents here today to celebrate. So here's a quick video that kind of explains about our program.
Our young adults are surrounded by negative influences from the media and problems like bullying, disrespect, and lying. Character GPS can help our communities get back on track. Students are engaged in 8 weeks of interactive multimedia workshops that focus on real-life application of 16 character values. Lessons include practical exercises, action plans, and assessments to help integrate these values into thoughts and actions. Let's all work together to steer our children and communities toward a better way.
On the heart of the kid. We're not trying to just get compliance, right? I mean, it's nice when the kids are obedient and everything, right? But we want the kids to know why it's the right thing to do, to own it, to feel that they are doing the right thing so that they can stand up against the peer pressure that might try to get them to do other things, right, that are not so good. So here are our 16 core values. We have our program is designed against negative behavior, and our students just put together an ad campaign, one against anti-bullying and the other against, what was it? Lying, right? So they put a campaign together. Why is that wrong? They had a slogan and reasons. So, but all of these behaviors really boil down to the bottom line. When kids don't feel good about themselves, they act out, right? So we try to work on the root issues so that kids can be all that they can be. So these 16 core values are what helps people to make good decisions. We make decisions based on our values, right? And so then if we have that value, we then make decisions in practice. So for instance, one of the areas of the truth, that was the first one, right? The truth sets you free. So then you have to be a truth keeper, right? And we talked about why lying is wrong and how we want to build, again, credibility. We don't want the boy who cried wolf, or we ruin our reputation, and then people won't believe us when we want them to, right? So we always start off each of our toolkits, the 7 in our adventures, with today. So kids, here's today. Can you change your past? What can you change? The future. So we got them excited. What would their future really look like? So once you can identify a positive future, what's the shortest distance from today to your amazing future? A straight line. Parents, would it be great if your kids were laser focused on their future? A straight line? But kids, we're human, so what happens? We get distracted, right? And our distractions that cause us to get off our path and slows us down from getting to the amazing future that lies ahead of us, right? So the kids were learning that these distractions come in many different forms. Each of our 7 toolkits address a different kind of distraction. So on the journey then to your amazing future, we also kind of use some metaphors that you're traveling towards your future, right? So the rear view mirror is small. Why is it so small? Because we can look at the past, but we don't want to dwell on the past. We can learn from the past. But what should we focus on? The future. So the big windshield is what we're looking ahead at, right? So we focus on the windshield, the future, we learn from the past, and thus we have a healthy life. So we start off right away with trying to figure out where are we going in life, right? So we ask the kids, what north? Where is north? And they all point in different directions. We were in agreement, right? So we said, who's right? And some of them said, well, I am. That's why I'm pointing there. And then I said, would you bet your life on it? And they weren't quite so certain about that. I think even now they value their lives, right? But if you said, if you had a tool where you could know you're making the right decision, would that be easier? Yes. So we shared with them like a compass, a Boy Scout compass, right? So you're in the woods lost, and it's a cloudy day, you don't know where the sun is, you need tools. So our program is like having tools to make good decisions with. So we talk about the compass as being a tool you can always rely, because it always points in what direction? North, right? So when we know that it's north, that's the direction we're going to go in. But we have another tool that people misuse called the weather vane. Where does the weather vane point? Whatever the wind's doing, right? Does the wind always point in the same direction? No. So it's kind of like your emotions. You're happy, you're sad, right? You don't make decisions on your emotions. Because parents, have you ever heard your children say, well, I don't feel like doing my homework. I don't feel like doing my chores. Heaven forbid, I don't feel like going to school, right? If you make choices out of your feelings, you'll make mistakes. Now, in all honesty, we're all adults here, right? Have you ever woke up in the morning and you didn't feel like handling your responsibilities? Going to work, being a parent, right? That was a bad day. But what did you do? You went to work anyways. You start continuing being a parent because your kids are counting on you, right? That's what leaders do when we're responsible. So our kids took ownership of that and said, okay, I think that's the right thing to do. So instead of going on your emotions, you find out what the truth is using our tools, and you make the right decision even if you don't feel like it. Well, then we said, well, wait a second. Have parents, you ever heard kids say, well, everyone else is doing it? Is that a good excuse to do something? No, right? Just because everyone else, that's the social media, and we have social media now, kids are out there, it's the blind leading the blind, right? Instead, we want them to listen to the wisdom of their parents, their coaches, their teachers, right? But kids that want to just do weather vane, who are they focused on? Themselves, right? We call it sad living. They focus on themselves. You don't always get what you want when you want it, so you have adversity, and then they end up being disappointed, right? Now, we're the richest country in the world, but I've been to Haiti, I've been to the Philippines, right? And people that have a lot less than we do here are happier because they don't think they have to have all the stuff to be happy. Does that make sense, right? So we talk with our kids, what's really important? Is having all the stuff important, or is there something better? But people that are disappointed, they just wander in life, always wondering why they don't have what everyone else has, right? But our kids, we're being trained as leaders to focus on the GPS, right? The principles of success. So it means that you're seeking guidance. Wouldn't it be great if your kids were always asking for your advice, parents? Right? Wanting to know what the best is. What did you learn? And I know sometimes parents will say, well, when I was your age, and the kids do what? They roll their eyes, they think it's outdated information because they have a technology paradigm, right? It's the latest phone, it's the latest gadget. So outdated information couldn't possibly be useful. But our kids learn that actually it's the technology that gets outdated. Wisdom is eternal, right? So you glean the wisdom from your parents, right? You're coachable so that you can make good decisions. And then by making good decisions, you guess what? You have good luck. But it's not a shake of the dice. It's based on your choices. So that's where we start off on day one, is saying it's up to you, right? It's your choices. So the kids learn how their brains actually learn and how they operate. And we have a primitive brain in the back, right? That's like your weather vane. That's your emotions, your animal fight or flight. But you got to calm them down to make a good decision, because then your frontal lobe, where you think, can kick in, right? But how old do you have to be before your frontal lobe is fully developed? You remember? 25. Would you please point to someone in the room that you know is at least 25, won't reveal ages. Point to someone 25. It's your parents, right? Miss Debbie, Miss Pat, our mayors, right? So adults have that frontal lobe developed, and they have life experience, and they love you, so they want to give you good advice, right? So we should tap into that. So with our frontal lobe, we can think, we can reason, we can seek wise counsel, and avoid the needless problems in life. Learning on the school of hard knocks is a tough way to live, right? So we learn from others. I was in a family of 7 kids. I was a middle child. I watched my older brother and sister make lots of mistakes, right? So I learned to not do those mistakes, right? If I make a mistake, make a unique mistake. So our 7 toolkits are like climbing up a stair. They're skill building. That's why we can accelerate learning in just 1 week. We have the highest level, which is TLC. What does it stand for? Teams, love, collaborate. You can shout it out, guys. You're allowed to do it here. It's very quick, right? We want to get all the way to the top. That's where we're going to have the greatest life experiences and successes. So we come back to our straight line. Well, how do you create that straight line? So we ask our kids to think of a river in our culture, very strong currents in our culture. If we're on one bank where today is, and you want to get to the other side, your future, if you try to swim across, really what happens when you try to swim across a strong current? It pulls you away, and our current will do that more than ever, right? More than when we grew up as kids, right? So if we had those stepping stones above that current of the river, could we get to the other side? So that's what GPS does. It creates that straight line by giving them the stepping stones above all the drama, all the confusion in our culture. So the first toolkit then, our PR, stands for what? Shout it out, guys. Proactive responsibility, right? So we're making good choices, we're thinking ahead, and we're being responsible. So once you're doing that, you're not lying, trying to get out of trouble, you're right, you're standing up to bullies, whatever we do to be responsible. Now we're ready to take the second step, which is CD. Shout it out. What does CD stand for? Can do, my favorite, right? Having a can do attitude. Now it sounds corny, but in a family of 7 kids, parents you don't have much time anyways, right? So if you went up to my parents and said, I can't do something, they say, your name's Kane, you can't do it, end of discussion, right? Put your energy into solving problems, not making excuses, right? Our third, then, is TD, which stands for what? Shout it out, guys. Talents discovered. You guys know you shouted this out just a little bit a while ago, right? Talents discovered. When you know your talents, now you can develop those talents and build confidence in yourself. Once you know you have talents, then you say, what can I use my talents for to make a difference in this world? And our two mayors here decided they could help the community, right? They could get people together, get things done, right? Help everyone's lives be better. So whatever your talents are, the kids will be sharing with you some of the talents they discovered because they did a Myers-Briggs personality survey. They learned that everyone has natural talents, but are they all the same? Is that good or bad? It's good, right? So when you know you have talents and other people have different talents, you combine them together, right? So it's a good thing to be different, not bad. So they then created a vision. What could they do with their talents? And we did a little career planning with them, say what's your natural talents a good match for things that might be really your talents to do. But once we have a vision for what our future is, does that get you there? No. There's more steps to it. It helps you focus, right? Our next is 3T. Managing your time, temptation, and treasure. That's what they were saying all day today, right? All right. So when you can manage your time, temptation, treasure, would you parents agree that's a lifelong challenge, right? Lots of temptations for our kids. Time, if you waste it, can you ever get it back? It's a precious resource. And your treasure, right? Your resources, your money, and other things, you use them wisely. If you waste them, then you don't have them for the things that you need. So we did talk about needs versus wants, and we all agreed there's certain needs you have to survive. Your parents have to work on those needs before they address any of the other wants, right? So then we have MR. So once you know how to manage yourself, what does MR stand for? Meaningful relations, right? How do we get along with other people? How do we help other people on the journey of life, not just trying to win at their expense, right? So this is how we build healthy relationships. It starts at home. So should you be trying to help your parents? Right. We don't take our parents for granted. Our parents work hard, right? So we should make it easier for them to be parents, not harder. So we talked about some of the things, like parents have to feed you. Should you be picky then about the food that you eat? Chicken again, right? No. We're thankful. In fact, we realize a statistic. Unfortunately, in the world, a child dies of starvation every 5 seconds. By the time I said that, so we're going to realize, wow, we should be thankful for what we have. Then we get to TLC. Now that we know how to work together, we then can accomplish things. TLC stands for love, collaboration, right? So today, we really spent time on collaborating. We solved some puzzles and problems that were hard to do on your own, but when you collaborated, it was actually easier, it was more fun, it was more productive. And so I told them when I was VP of HR at Raymond James, I hired people, but I hired people who knew how to work in teams. Not just because they said, oh yeah, I like teams. They could give me examples of when they had synergy with teams. They had problem solved, put their ideas and their talents together. So now, when you can work in a team, can you get to your future? Yes. So those stepping stones get you on a straight line. So that's what they've been learning for 5 days. And we love it. They've been taking their teaching sheets home to you to teach you what they're learning. Part of it is we want you to obviously be involved to see that. But they were also learning that the way their brains learn. Their information comes in short-term memory. If they teach it, it moves to long-term memory. And then they have it for life. But what happens when you go to sleep? What happens to your short-term memory? It gets wiped out for the next day, right? So that's why they were eager to talk and teach to you, right? But also, hopefully that opens to more communication. You get the teenage years. Sometimes you get the short answers, right? How was your day? Fine. You learn anything? No, right? So we want to open up that communication so they can, again, have your wise counsel. They're going to be open and ready to ask you for great advice. So this is what we were working on this process. So here's our roadmap. It's on the back of their books. They've taken notes all week on these principles, and they have it all packed into one book. So that when you guys get home, find a good place to put your GPS journey guide, because you can go back and refer to all the great things you learned. You can share them with your family members, sisters, and friends, because you are way ahead of the game by the 5 days that you've learned here. So we also do what's called a CQ. Now you've heard of an IQ, intelligence quotient, right? And then that measures your intelligence potential ability. And we have an EQ, emotional quotient, right? That's how emotionally you can handle things. But we believe there's a CQ that pulls that all together, your character quotient. How mature are you? We use all 7 toolkits. So you'll see in the kids' journey guide, they circled where they thought they were on the continuum, like the first one, from reactivity to proactivity, right? Where did I start on Monday? And then put a square, how far did they grow? And you would be amazed. These kids realized in 5 days, they actually grew quite a bit. Now, some of them put 4s, right? They've already arrived. And that's all good. It just reflects their confidence. But you guys know it's a life experience to work on these things. So we'll keep those. That's really a great tool, and you can use it ongoing. You can check in after the semester, the fall semester, and say, hey, how much more have you grown? Let the kids continue to see their progress in their character development. Now, we're also an anti-bullying program, so we know that bullying is wrong. Right, guys? It hurts people. So we have activities in every single toolkit to learn how to handle bullies, how to not only stand up to bullies, but realize who has the problem, you or the bully. The bully's insecure, right? They don't know that everyone's priceless. They don't know their self is priceless. So you pick it up and be better about themselves. But our kids learn to have compassion for the bully and how to help the bully gain confidence, right? So that they can then be more productive in their relationships as well. So we have heroes that came in during the week, and we invited Rob Hort, our representative here from North Tonawanda. He was here 2 years ago for camp. And this time he came back again. Really busy guy, so we appreciate how you come and help encourage our students. But we were asking questions like bullying. And remember how he said, there are bullies in the adult world. There's bullies in politics, right? You have to know how to handle the bullies, right? So we learned that because we are a trauma-informed care program, we help kids overcome trauma that had their life. And one of the ways we do that is to help them reprogram. You gotta have to unlearn what you learned. Some kids have learned some things about themselves that are not true. So for instance, sometimes they think that they're a victim. Something's happened to them, right, or me, but they're not gonna get past it if they don't get out of victim mode, right? So instead of being a victim, what should they be? A victor. So we taught our kids, you're a leader. Whatever life throws at you, if life gives you lemons, what should you make? Lemonade, right? So we always, it's what we can do with our lives to make it better. It's not going to be perfect. And then sometimes we just, like, it's easy to say, well, I can't be responsible, right? It's kind of like a cop-out, right? Mom, dad says, you need to be responsible. Well, I can't be responsible. The ultimate, excuse, right? But our kids learn, no, they are capable. They can make good choices, right? And if they do, they'll have great outcomes in their life. So there's no motivation to stay stuck, right? In can-do mode. Then some kids have had some tough things in life. They say, I'm broken. But we don't believe that, right? We know that we all can move forward. We are capable. We have confidence, right? And we did a lot of problem solving. Gave them puzzles that were really hard. Today, they were doing the advanced puzzles and they were knocking it out, right? You can solve about anything. Some people say I'm not smart. They compare themselves to other people, right? Our kids learn how their brains learn so that they can be rocket science. They can be a brain surgeon. We watched the Ben Carson movie where he thought he was dumb, right, as a kid, and he became the most famous neurosurgeon doing amazing things, right? So all of our kids know that they can learn to do anything that they want. Then, of course, sometimes we think that we're worthless. I've always had, I ask kids how much they work. Some will say, $10,000, I heard $1 million, I heard $1 trillion, I heard $1 billion, right? And then they realize you're unique, you can't be replaced. That makes you priceless, right? You take care of things that are priceless. But every once in a while, we have kids that think they're worthless. Why are you worthless? The same as I've been told. So that's really sad, isn't it, right? So we have to unlearn that to realize, no, you were born priceless, and nothing you or the bully can do to change that, right? So our opportunity then was to have them say, well, you don't think you have talents? Guess what? You do have talents. And we identified those and started saying, how can we develop those talents? Then we had to say, well, I don't fit in. I don't know, maybe you had some of that struggle when you were a kid as well. You didn't feel like you fit in. Guess what? We told our kids, you don't have to fit in. That's not the goal. You're a leader. You step out and do the right thing, and people will start following you. So don't try to fit in. Be the light shining, and other people will see what you're doing. So you can be a leader. And there. Some people say, I'm all alone. Kind of feel sometimes lonely. So what do? You make teams, you make friends, right? If you see someone sitting by themselves at lunch, what should you do, guys? Sit with them. Don't let people get isolated, right? So now our program is helping them to figure out that you don't have to figure it out yourself, right? Find mentors, leaders, coaches, your parents to help you on the journey of life. So with this new understanding, in 5 days, our leaders here are excited about their future. You're going to get to hear about that in a minute. So real quick, proactivity. You want to be reactive or proactive, guys? Proactive, right? So the way it looks, reactive people, they don't think before they do. They just let their emotions take over. But we had to learn the discipline. Calm the emotions down, the primitive brain, right? Make good choices based on your values. Well, if you have the 16 core values of success, you're going to make good choices, right? So that's how we set them up for success. And we learn how to be proactive with stab the potato, right? So you learn there's a technique to do something that look hard, and you learn how to overcome it by training and practicing. All right? Then we use the metaphor of an iceberg, right? So there's the tip of the iceberg which people see, but the mass of the iceberg is below the surface, right? It helps it float. So remember how much is the tip of the iceberg? What percent? 10%. So the mass of the iceberg is the 90% below. That's your character. So when you put in these values into your character, I want to be a truth keeper, right? You have to practice what it means to be a truth keeper, and you make it that your habit. How many days does it take to make a habit? 30 days, right? So we spent 5 days. We just have 25 days to go, which they've got plenty of summer to work with, right? So surface, and then you have the benefits, right? People trust you, you trust yourself, you got great relationships, right? So this is the opportunity that we have, and so our students learn how to do it. I think I'm going to switch the microphone. I realize this is a little bigger. Is that better? Can you hear me? Okay. So our students learned again how not to be a victim, give role plays, which they love to do, right? And they often play the parent and the child. So we had a lot of opportunities to kind of rehearse how's the best way to respond to our parents, right? In a responsible way. So continue here. Jeff team like Timo that they never give up. No one can stop them at the end of the game. That's one of our students, right? Can do. It's like that Timo. Every practice, not enough, right? Push it all the way through so you can win the game. So again, with my name being Kane, last name, right? The Texan Kane, we were told you can do it, right? You can do it. So with that in mind, we then apply that to everything. And of course, I had to take on Bradley. He played basketball, right? And he beat me yesterday in basketball. He had a can-do attitude, right? So we'll have another rematch on that, right? So then we come to our talents. So we talk about heroes. So here's a little girl who learned to play the piano in her dad's music store at the age 4. She worked on her talent by the age 13. She was so good she was teaching adults, right? And then she went on to get a master's in performing arts, right? And she sounds so good. My fingers don't even move that fast, right? And where's the music coming from? Memorized it, right? Because practice makes perfect, right? So who is this amazing piano player? My wife, Miss Debbie. And the music runs through her whole family, right? So Matt, thank you for sharing your legacy with your family, and Kathy for passing this on to so many other students to learn their musical talents too. So they're all heroes. So there's Dad at age 89, and he came and was playing for all of you. doesn't have art. It's just amazing. And it's like a jukebox. You just say what the song is, and he just starts playing. So quite amazing, right? So we thank you for our dad, our hero. He's here today. So the kids learn they all have different personalities, which is good, right? Because when we combine them, we're better than we are by ourselves. So there was our first class in North Tonawanda 6 years ago. Then this was our class 2 years ago. And then this is our class today. And everyone is priceless. They all have different talents, but they're all unique and can't be replaced. So we could be artists. We could be athletes, right? But the key is they had to answer 3 questions. And unfortunately, our world of advertising, you have to answer, what do I have, what do I have to do, and what do I have to be, right? Advertising wants you to focus on what? Have, do, or be. Have, you gotta have all the stuff, right? And then you bother your parents because you want to have the latest, greatest of all the stuff they have, right? And then you do things to get it and end up being in debt. We're the richest country in the world. We're also the most in debt country in the world, right? Because we have to have all this stuff. But our kids learn that that actually is not true. That is the right approach. Who do you want to be? That's the bullseye on the target. Then do things, develop the talent, and then you're going to have the things in life money can't buy. Your self-respect, your confidence, your talents, where you just go out and make a difference in this world like our 2 mayors, right? Making a difference in the world is what it's all about. So we kind of practice, target practice, but we have to understand, I did a little exercise, I was blindfolded, Miss Debbie loves to turn me around like pin the tail of the donkey, so I'm all over the place. But I told the kids I have a better chance of hitting my target, blindfolded and turned around than you if you don't have a target at all. What I was saying, you can't hit targets you don't have. So you need to be a goal setter, because those goals motivate you, right? Who motivates all you guys? Who motivates you? Yourself. It's not your mom. It's not your teacher. They give incentives. It's your choice. You have to motivate yourself, right? So that was the opportunity. So they learned a SMART goal setting tool, and you'll be seeing some of that here today. We have to be specific. What's the next M? What's that? Measurable. Attainable. What are the steps to get to it? Relevant. Why are you going to do it? Because it's going to be hard. And then how long will it take? So we're using that tool. We applied it to career planning. We applied it to finance, saving money, not spending money, saving money for the things you need, right? So some of our students, like Mariana, who wants to be a soccer player, right? So she is preparing to get her scholarship, go to college, study sports medicine, so that she can get drafted to play Major League Soccer, right? Can we give her a hand? Isn't that good? Mariana, she wants to graduate from high school and go to college to study graphic design like her dad. Okay, one of her heroes, right? So that she can join a family business. Can we give her a hand? Isn't that great? How about Brantley? He wants to be a football wide receiver. So he knows he has to practice, right, on his team now, get a scholarship, get a sports medicine degree in college, get drafted to the NFL. And what do you have to have? A contract, right? Don't play a game in the NFL until you sign the contract, right? So how about a hand for Bradley? You got it right. Opal, her dream was to get her high school diploma, go to college, study education, because she wants to be a pre-K teacher. Can we give a hand to Opal? And so we also use tools like a vision board to have kids think about what their future would look like. So here's Perez's. She says she wants to be a teacher. And she put all these different things that would kind of make her life so exciting, right? That's what motivates her. Then we have Anna Rose. So she had like 2 things, Anna, right? You've got the doctor side and you've got the caregiving side, right? The preschool. And we saw a movie today, Yours, Mine, and Ours, and the kids were up wild. She said, that's not my daycare center. That's not the way it's going to be run, right? So that's her dream. Lily wants to be a hairstylist, right? To have her salon, and take care of people. She's a great listener, right? How about a hand for Lily, right? Claire wants to be a geologist, so she's on that road again to get her college degree in geology and go out in the world, right, and make a difference. How about a hand for her? And Lucy, She wants to be a teacher as well. We got a lot of teachers in our group, right? So she understands, and she said not only does she like to work with kids, but she knows how to handle kids. Mom must be teaching her something right there. How about a hand for Lucy? And Emily, one of our mentors here, she wants to be a dentist, but she has lots of things that she wants in life. So she, again, created all these different things and part of her vision of what her life would look like. But this is an exercise that's so important for kids, is to think about their future so it motivates them to stay on that straight line and say no to all the distractions, right? The peer pressure, people want you to do something that's going to pull you off your straight line, we're not going to let them do it. So we have to manage our time. So our kids actually learn time management, must-dos, distractions, pull them away, preparation, and escape. So we asked the kid, well, why would you spend time in escape if it's not urgent and it's not important? Why would you do an escape activity? Because it's fun, right? You run away from all your responsibilities in the fantasy world. But guess what? You come out of fantasy world, you haven't done anything more in reality, and you still got all the responsibilities. So we helped our kids realize if they spend time preparing for the must-dos, you practice for the test, you study, right? You ace the test. You practice for the game, you win the game, right? Make your life so great you don't have to escape from it. Isn't that cool? So they were doing some analysis on how they were spending their time. And look in the mirror, right? And say, I can't change other people, but who's going to change? They can change themselves, right? So looking at that, the key is to invest your time in preparation, right? Prepare for your soccer, prepare for your teaching, whatever it is. Put that time into prepare, and you'll create good luck in your life. So, having done some time assessment, take responsibility, look how they did. They actually have activities, a lot of preparation. We were impressed. Not too much escapism, but we all know that there's some escape, right? But you work and then you play. You have to manage some of that entertainment time. So the greatest gift that you could give yourself, after we did some drug awareness training kids of harm that drugs could do, and now like fentanyl, 1 gram, you could be toast, right? It's not just addicted, you could be dead. And so that's a harsh reality for our kids to have to face. So we gave them all the information of how their brain chemicals work. They don't need drugs to feel good. It's actually built in. You just have to know how to release them, right? So when you exercise, what do you get, Brantley? Endorphins, right? Very good. When you go out in the sun, you get serotonin. It makes you feel better. Your mood, right? You socialize with people. You get serotonin as well. That's why it's so hard on our kids during COVID. They were cut off from each other. Not good, right? So when they learned how their brains work, and they had some testimonies, like from our friend Derek, right? Who was in jail for drugs and institutions to recover. And he said, like, I got tired of being in jail, I got tired of being in an institution. The only option was death. He realized he had to stop. But he said, you know what? All that was a waste of time. Don't get started, right? So we gave our kids, giving them the information to take a pledge to live drug-free. And so your kids have in their books, they signed, they got a challenge coin for making that proactive decision now. Of course, the kids are, at an age where they're not supposed to be drinking, right? But still, the temptations are out there. So I think we'd be very proud of all of our kids. It was optional. They all signed it, and our mentors signed it. Can we give them all a hand? They all got their. So then we did some budgeting. So we used advanced educational budgeting tools. Okay, we spare no expense for our kids, right? So here was one of our educational videos.
I'm never going to get out of this.
Credit card debt
Steve Martin.
never ends.
Maybe I can help. We sure could use it.
We've tried debt consolidation companies.
We've even taken out loans to help make payments. Well, you're not the only ones. Did you know millions of Americans live with debt they cannot control? That's why I developed this unique new program for managing your debt. It's called Don't Buy Stuff You Cannot Afford.
Oh, let me see that. If you don't have any money, you should not buy anything. Sounds interesting.
Sounds confusing.
I don't know, honey. This makes a lot of sense. There's a whole section here on how to buy expensive things using money you save.
Give me that. And where would you get this saved money? I'll tell you where and how in chapter 3.
Okay, well, what if I want something but I don't have any money?
You don't buy it.
Well, let's say I don't have enough money to buy something. Should I buy it anyway?
No.
Now I'm really confused.
It's a little confusing at first.
Well, what if you have the money? Can you buy something?
Yes.
Now take the money away. Same story?
Nope. You shouldn't buy stuff when you don't have the money.
I think I got it. I buy something I want and then hope that I can pay for it, right?
No. You make sure you have money, then you buy it.
Oh, then you buy it. But shouldn't you buy it before you have the money?
No.
Why not?
It's in the book. It's only 1 page long. The advice is priceless and the book is free.
Wow, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, we can put it on our credit card.
So get out of debt now. Write for your free copy of Don't Buy Stuff You Cannot Afford. And if you order now, you'll also receive Seriously, if you don't have the money, don't buy it. Along with a 12-month subscription to Stop Buying Stuff magazine. So order today.
All right, so we had a little fun. So we told the kids things that may seem like common sense still may not be common practice. We live in fantasy where we want something now and we think we can charge it and pay for it later, right? So our kids got a heavy dose of understanding that common sense needs to be practiced, right? Very good. So they actually, hopefully you guys saw their budgets. They had opportunity to actually plan a budget. So they had a job, making money, and they had to allocate money just like you guys do. So hopefully you had some good conversations about that. So our kids are learning how to manage their life and their money. Then meaningful relationships, real quick, it's based on the golden rule. And who's got the golden rule? Lucy, what is it? Right. Simple as that, right? So if you want people to be kind to you, what should you do first? Be kind to them. You want people to respect you, what do you do first? You respect them like your parents, right? So this is how you can have healthy relationships by following the golden rule. It's win-win thinking, right? So should we beg at your parents when they say no? Is that a good idea to beg? No. Should you manipulate them by making them feel guilty? No. You respect their decision, but then you say, if I do certain things, could I possibly do that in the future? You ask, would it be convenient to do this thing in the future if I take care of my responsibilities first? And when you show parents respect, they usually then will work with you to meet those, to accomplish those goals, right? So our kids will really learn based on what? Respecting everyone's special personality, ethnicity, culture, and talent. So Reaper had it right. We respect others and we respect ourselves. So that's a good way. So that we get to the highest level, teams love collaboration. We did a lot of activities working together, having fun. And of course, team is actually an acronym. Together, everyone achieves more. Right? So if we're getting something at the expense of someone else, that's win-lose. That's not what we want, win-win. And that's what our mayors, they try to create win-wins in our community so that everyone can win. So we know that 2 are better than 1, right, Brantley? And then, of course, the girls came up with another one, 3 are better than 2, right? So the more heads we get working on it, the better. So these are the things that we did in 5 days. We covered a lot of ground. They filled up all their journey guides to share with you what they have accomplished. So now they realize, after 5 days, that with teamwork, nothing is impossible, right? Put people together, common goals. All you got to do is focus on the principles of success and your energy, right? You got to put your energy in. What happens when you put success success and energy together, what do you get? You get synergy. We did a lot of synergy today, solving problems, doing an ad campaign against bullying and lying. So we are now ready to get to work, and we have our mayor who's come with a special recognition for our graduates. So, Mayor Russell, would you like to come up here? We'll do this together.
All right. Well, first of all, let's give the kids a huge hand, because I know everything that you went through, right? All the notes that you took, all the things that you learned. Sometimes you are like, "This is kind of hard," and it was. But anything worth doing right is sometimes you got to go through some of those challenges. So when I talked to the mayor about this program and I explained it to him, he was super excited to meet you guys. He said, "I got to get over here and I got to get them something because I know how hard they work." So we're going to have you guys come on up, and he's going to hand out, what do we have here for them?
So something very special from my office, we call them the anchor of our community. So it goes to people in the city that are making a difference and making our community better. So I am happy to give each and every one of you one of our wonderful pins.
So if we can have Jeff announce them one at a time, have them come up, and the mayor would love to give them the pins. And parents, if you want to take a picture, this would be a great time to do that when they're doing that as well.
Okay. All right. So Brantley, would you like to come up here first? Since you beat me in basketball, I think we deserve that. Congratulations, Brantley. All right. I wore about basketball, I tell you. All right. Then we have Lucy. Lucy, come on up here. All right, then we have Mariana. Come on down. Congratulations. Okay, then we have Opal. Come on down. And Therese, come on down. Then we have Manana, come on down. Congratulations. Around now. Put your apron in. Hold it out proudly. Thank you. Lily, come on down. Congratulations. Grab your pin, turn around. Last but not least, Sarah, come on down. Yeah. They were practicing smiling and handshaking. You only have one chance for an impression. All right. Thank you so much.
So let's give a round of applause to James.
If we can have Debbie come up, and former mayor Art Pappas, if you could come up too, because Art was the mayor when we first started this program, and he understands the importance of this program and the idea that you students want to be leaders, and that's incredibly important. And so what we're going to do is we want to give Jeff and Debbie just a word of recognition, because if you don't know their story, so they live in Florida and they do this program all throughout Florida in school systems. And they spend their vacation up here, and they just, because they love kids and they want to feed into kids, they donate their time to come here and run this program for a weekend. They've been doing it since, when was the first year? 2018. So we wanted to just recognize them for all the work they've done and how they've poured into our kids. So let's give them a round of applause.
Okay, so the show's got to continue here, and I put my clicker over here. All right, so now our kids realize they've learned all these tools, but we need to have a little inspiration. Would you say, right? Why are these tools going to be helpful to you when it really gets tough? So we have a leader with us today. He was born in North Tonawanda, New York, right? He married his lovely wife, Kara, best thing he ever did. And his family of 2 children that they have. Got to see both the girls. And he joined the North Tonawanda Parks Rec Department as a part-time playground attendant. Right? You started at the bottom and you worked your way up, right? Then he served as North Tonawanda Youth Center supervisor. He became the director of North Tonawanda Department of Youth Recreation Parks and Seniors in 2018. Then he started working on mentorship programs, and that's why we partner with our mentorship as well. And so today, he is your Character GPS graduation keynote speaker, our very own Alex Dombrowski. Alex, come on down. He's like a football star, right? All right. So he's got his NFL contract and he's like ready to go here. But he wants to talk to you just a little bit about why character is so important. So let's give a good listen to him here.
All right. First things first, I'm glad I didn't wear that T-shirt because that would be weird. I looked at the picture, I go, okay, we're good. But thanks for coming again. I know what this program entails, and I know it's hard. And there's probably moments where you guys wanted to say, I'm going to quit. And you might have even went home and said, Mom and Dad, I don't want to go back because it's hard and there's a lot of work. And I want to thank the parents for saying, you're coming back. You got to do it. And your parents understand because it's extremely important that we build character. Why? Because character is who you are. I have a quick little story I wanted to share with you guys. Anyone ever built a sandcastle before? Yeah. So this story is about a sandcastle competition, and so all these people come out onto the beach, and they're given all the utensils, and they can choose whatever they want to use and make a sandcastle. They have a certain amount of time to do it, and then at the end, they are judged by their sandcastle. So all these people get out, and so there's the things you would typically expect. What would you expect making a sandcastle? What are some things? Okay, to make a castle though, what would you do? If you were at the beach, what would you need? What's that? A bucket, right? A sand bucket, maybe a shovel. Do you got something over there? What would you use to build a sandcastle? Sand, right? Wet sand, so maybe some water to wet it down, right? So all these utensils were here. And anyone can use whatever they wanted. Shovels, buckets, maybe even some forms. Have you ever seen those plastic mold forms that you can shove the sand in? But also, there were these pavers. You know what pavers are? You ever heard of the word pavers? Like big concrete blocks, heavy blocks, okay? So everyone, has anyone ever built a sandcastle with pavers before? No, that'd be weird because they're called sandcastles, right? So most of the people left those pavers alone and they started grabbing all their tools and they started building their sandcastle. One person, his dad was a contractor, and his dad taught him that anytime you build a house, the most important thing is the foundation, right? Because if you have a weird foundation, your house is tilty, it's compromised, and it won't stand strong. So this individual saw those pavers, and he saw exactly where they're building their sandcastles and said, well, we're pretty close to the water here. I'm going to build my castle up on a firm foundation with these pavers, and I'm going to build it up so if the water comes, that's what's going to happen. My sandcastle is going to be protected and it's going to stand strong. Now, everyone's building their sandcastles over here by the water. He's got to lug all these pavers from over here because they have a set area where they're building their sandcastles. And he's got to be in line with everybody. So he had to make the decision right away that I got to do the hard thing because those pavers are heavy. They weigh, 10 pounds, and this kid's probably 80 pounds, so it's an eighth of his weight. So he spent a lot of his time lugging pavers and stacking them on top of each other so they were high enough. Then he started building his sandcastle. So he was behind from the get-go, but he invested his time wisely. Because what ends up happening is all these kids are building these huge sandcastles and they look cool, and maybe some of them had some cool designs, maybe some of them were super big and super tall. But by the time the judging happened, the tide was coming in, and most of those sandcastles were starting to get hit by the waves. And if you're getting hit on the bottom of your sandcastle, what happens to the top of your sandcastle eventually? It starts to fall apart, right? Have you ever seen that happen? Right, as the bottom starts to get eaten away by the waves or whatever it might be, it starts to and it's going to fall over, right? But the person who invested all that time, he might not have had the biggest sandcastle, he might not have had the coolest looking sandcastle, but by the end of this competition, he was the only one left with a standing, solid sandcastle that was actually recognized as a sandcastle. And it was because he made a decision to do the hard thing. And the hard decision was taking the effort to grab a paver, walk all the way over, put it down, to grab another one and put it down. And his sandcastle stood because it was built on a firm foundation. I tell that story because everything that you guys did over the last 5 days was things that were to teach you how to build a solid foundation. And again, I tell that story because some of the things you did over these last 5 days were hard. But you chose, either you chose to do them or you were made to do them, whatever that might have been. But if you were made to do them, it's because your parents recognized the importance of having a solid foundation. And so it's important that in life, do you know how many choices you make on a day on average? Does anyone know? I'm going to put people on the spot. How many choices do you think you make in a day? $200. 1,000. 3,000. 50. There's no right answer, by the way. 100. 1,000. Wait, you said thousands. Ooh. Yep. 50. 1,000,000. Okay? So I didn't know either. I Googled it. I don't know if Google's always right, but I checked a couple of different sources, and it's anywhere from like 30 to 40,000 decisions a day. And when you start thinking about it, you're like, no way. And that's what I do. I was like, there's no way. But then you start thinking about it. What happens as soon as you wake up? First decision, do I actually get up? Or do I close my eyes and go back to bed? Do I hit the snooze button? What do I wear? What color is my shirt? What am I having for breakfast? What spoon do I use? What bowl do I use? And it goes on and on and on and on. So you can see how 30 to 40,000 over the course of the day actually is true. Now, some of those choices you make are easy. For me, I have the same cereal every day. So it's just easy. I'm going with the Cinnamon Chex. 100 times out of 100 times. That's my go-to cereal. But some decisions can be difficult, right? Whether you're in school and someone says something, you have to decide, how do I respond? And I know you talked about that in your classes. When there's a confrontation, how do I respond? What do I say? What do I do? What is the timing in that? When someone asks me to do something that I know is wrong, but I know the easy answer would be to say yes and to fit in, versus making the difficult decision, carrying that paver all the way to the water and standing on a firm foundation, making that difficult decision and maybe having a little conflict there to say no. So what I want you guys to leave with is understanding that you got this big binder with all this stuff, right? Please, please, please don't just, use that for kindling and fire, right? We don't want that to happen. Because right now, I know it's a lot. You're like, Summer, I didn't want to learn. I just want to have fun. But we have Jeff and Debbie investing in you. We have the former mayors understanding the importance. But most importantly, your parents investing in you and saying, this is important. Because you're important. So understand that every decision you make should be made on a firm foundation of everything you've been taught and are going to continue to learn. Does that mean you are going to live perfectly? How many people here think that I'm going to walk out these doors and I'm going to be perfect for the rest of my life? Your hand should be down, okay? We're all broken. I'm broken too. We all are going to make mistakes. Sometimes we might step off that foundation and start building our castle on something else. Understand though that at some point in time when you realize your mistakes, that you can go back to your foundation and build your castle up again. It's never too late to rebuild on a firm foundation. But understand too, we talked about natural talents and everyone has different talents and abilities, and that's amazing, and you should use those things to bless other people, your family, the community, but also understand the fact that to have good character, it takes zero talent. It doesn't take any talent to be honest. It doesn't take any talent to serve somebody, to say yes to something and to help them out, right? All those things that you worked on over the past 5 days, none of those things require talent. They require a willingness to do them. A willingness to say yes to standing on a firm foundation and making good decisions. No talent needed. Now you guys are all very, very talented, and I hope that you use those talents and to your best ability, and you go and do amazing things, and I'm very confident you will. Okay? But I want to also say that there's a lot of people who do amazing things that do not have good character. So you have to understand that too. What's the most important thing? That I make $1 million and I'm a football player catching passes and scoring touchdowns? Or that I have good character and my family respects me, my community respects me, and I'm somebody that someone looks up to? So I would challenge it. I would rather see all of you guys continue to be good characters and honor the things that you've signed and live out the things that you've learned today and apply them to your life, rather than seeing you be millionaire football players, which is, it's fine to do that, and that's great, but if that's your number one priority and you're willing to take your character and push that down a couple notches, that's ultimately not going to be the best decision for you. So I just ask, I thank you for being here. I know how much work it was, and you guys did phenomenal. It's not one of those programs where everyone just passes and says, hey, you get a gold sticker. You guys earned it. The recognition that you have today, parents know this, the recognition you have today, the things that you're going to get and the rewards you are going to get, you earned it. But continue to earn it throughout life. With every decision, 30 to 40,000 times a day, every decision you make, earn it with good character and good decisions. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me and having me be a part of this program.
All right. Really, because our sister Kathy Carr got us connected to Alex, and because Alex, when he heard about our program, said this is what we need here in North Tonawanda, right? So really, it's by his sponsorship and encouragement that we packed up everything, and we've been coming up here to do summer camp. It's a 3-day drive, because we have to get everything in the car, all the stuff that you guys get in the camp. So again, we really thank Alex. So now you've kind of heard a lot about the program, but the climax, the crescendo, is now in front of us. This is when our students heard the MGM theater, that was time for Character GPS theater, role plays, right? But this is actually not the end. This is really just the beginning of the rest of their lives, right? So we have the kids today looking back at their 5 days and try to pull together what they've learned about themselves. And again, parents, if you would, fill out the evaluation forms. There's a box in the back, you can drop that off, because this is what allows us to, again, get feedback. Because you parents, you really are our partners in helping our kids become the great leaders that they can be. So, our kids earn bonus chips. Our parents know all about that. Bonus chips for doing their teaching sheets. Bonus when the parents responded to our daily summaries, right? They got bonus chips when they took tests. You believe they're testing during the summer? Pre-tests and then post-tests to see how much they learned. Their participation in class, all sorts of things, they got bonus chips for. And so Miss Debbie, they earned so many, we had to use a supercomputer to add up all the chips because they were working so hard. So combining all the different activities, our top chip getter was Lucy. Lucy, come on down. So the kids prepared a little script so they can kind of summarize the things that they learned about themselves. Pull it right out of your book there. But because of time, we're going to have a couple of our leaders, and the rest of you are going to get to go share with your parents. You don't have to come up here and do this. You see that relief, right? Okay. But Lucy, I think you're pretty well prepared. So I'm going to ask you some of these questions, and you can use your script that you prepared, right, so that you know how to answer. So the first thing we asked our kids was, what were some words that you learned kind of about yourself, your talents, abilities? What were some words that describe you? Caring, gentle, and loyal. Those are wonderful things. And so when she did her Myers-Briggs survey to find out what her natural talents are, what did your profile come out to be? Okay, an ISFP, composer, author. So what category profile is that? Artisan. So she's a very creative, hands-on person that likes to create things. And what is the strength of being an artisan, author, composer? Right. So she likes to do things hands-on. I think Mom will testify to that, right? But what is your weakness? What is something you have to kind of make sure that you kind of overcome? Because when you create these great things, I bet she's going to write books and all sorts of possible things. What do you have to remember to do when you get done with that?
Sharing.
Yeah, sometimes it's like your baby. Do I really want to share it with everyone, right? So that's a great talent for her. So then we asked them, what do you want to be someday?
Teacher.
So she would like to be a teacher. Then we said, okay, now let's get specific. Let's really hone in so you know what you're shooting for, what that target is. So your specifically would be what kind of teacher?
Okay.
Pre-K, very good. So work with the little kids. That takes a lot of patience, right? So they worked out their SMART goal plan. So the measure, what do you have to have in order to be a pre-K teacher?
License.
Right, you have to be a licensed teacher in the state of Florida, okay? I'm sorry, New York, I'm sorry. I live in Florida. Right, you're in New York. So when she comes down to Florida, then she can also get a license down there too in Florida. Okay, then the attainable steps. So you want to get there, but what are the steps to, step by step to get to being this great teacher?
Get good grades.
You're going to graduate from high school?
Yeah.
What kind of grade point average are you going to shoot for, Lucy?
4.0.
Of course. Lucy tries to do the best on everything. And then she's going to go to college, and you're going to get a degree in what?
Teaching.
Teaching, right? So it'll be elementary, preschool teaching. And then she wants to go on and get a master's degree, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in early childhood development. And then, of course, you'll have to do your internship and practice. They don't just turn you loose in the classroom. So you do an internship with an experienced teacher, and then you get your license, right? How about, can you say congratulations, give her a hand? That is quite a plan. Now, with those attainable steps, we always ask relevant. So why do you want to put all this work into being a teacher?
I love kids.
She loves kids, and she told me, and I know how to handle kids. Whoa, that's the right kind of teacher. So you should have been learning from Mom at home. Okay, so adding up all these attainable steps, how many years will it take for you to become this amazing preschool teacher?
14.
A 14-year plan. Give her a hand. That's really looking forward. How old are you right now? 9. So she's projecting beyond her lifespan to get to her future. That's great. All right, so now you have a plan. What are the tools from Character GPS that are going to help you to pursue that? Two is better than one. Great. And of course, can do, right? Okay, you have to have a can do attitude. Okay. Now, we also ask the kids, what is one bad habit? So you take control of your life, right? You say no to the bad habit so you'll have time to work on your t-shirt license. What's one bad habit you're going to break? Candy. All right. So, Mom, the accountability is here. She's asked for it. And how many days will it take you to break that habit? 30 days, right? So she said she had no candy last night. So that might be first day of the 30 days, right? So we're going to work on that. How about a hand here for Lucy? Now, what we're going to do, so our mentor has been busy over here while Lucy's been answering questions. They have earned prizes. So they get to pick a prize from each table. Okay, Lucy, turn around. So you get to choose from any of these books or music CDs. Or then the second one, you go over and pick one of those movies. These are really good stuff. Then you get to go over and pick out any of those kind of fun items, lotions, all sorts of stuff. And there's some guy stuff there too, Brantley, right? And then one thing from there, and then you go over to the other table, and there's some additional like jewelry and other stuff, and there's some guy stuff there too, Brantley, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 things, one from each table, all right? So you get to go first, so go ahead and get, oh, you're in the mirror, thank you. That's why I've got a partner here. So Lucy captured all these positive words about herself, and we took her picture in the mirror, so every day she's going to remind herself of the hero she's becoming. How about a hand for Lucy there, huh? All right, you can go ahead and pick a gift out. So for the rest of our kids, I know we're kind of running long here, so we'd like to take a few minutes, take your script and go share it with your parent. Don't hand it to them. You're going to teach it to them. Right? Tell them what you've done, what your plan is, all right? So they're going to be very proud of you. And then we'll get our ceremony going so you can all get your prizes. And that's what I do, sir. Okay, when you've talked it through with your folks, come on back up front, and we're going to then do our formal graduation, make it official that you will have earned your Character GPS diploma, and you're ready to tackle this amazing world out there. Okay, are we all done? Okay, they all again have their vision boards, and they're going to get their here in the mirrors in just a minute. Okay, how about a hand for graduates again having a vision for their life, how they're going to take control. So now we got to do the real thing. We got to do the official graduation walk. They're going to receive dog tags, their certificate, they're here in the mirror, and then they're going to walk over and pick out, again, 4 prizes, one from each table. Just the graduates, yep. All right, so we need a little graduation music. Are we ready? All right. So our next, well, we'll bring up Lucy first. Lucy's going to come get her certificate. Come on up, Lucy. Get a picture taken here. All right, Lucy, you are equipped and you are capable. highest chip getter was Clara. Clara, come on down. Brantley, come on down, Brantley. Therese, come on down. All right, Miss Lily, come on down, Lily. Mariana. We're a nonprofit, so we have contributions from all of you. The $10 for Parks and Rec really to cover Parks and Rec expenses. So we thank Parks and Rec for being a sponsor, and all of our other sponsors here, Matt Music, Haynes gave us a lunch, donated a lunch. You guys donated pizza today. Was that really good, right? All of our other sponsors, so we really appreciate everyone. So again, if you fill out your feedback sheets and put them in the box in the back, we're going to close out with our final blessing on you guys. Are we ready? Here we are. Get over here. All right. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and the rains fall upon your fields until we meet again. May God hold you in the palm of his hands. Congratulations, you are official GPS graduates. Great job. All right. So we have now cake in the back, so it's a full celebration. We asked our graduates to come up front. We'll take a group picture. So we have the group picture. Who can take our group picture? Alex got it, okay. Thank you. Miss Debbie? Okay, all graduates come forward, please. Come on up. All right. Balance it out a little bit. Okay. Thank you, Clara. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. GPS. All right. Now, should we do one more? Let's throw our hands up because we score a touchdown, right? 1, 2, 3. Touchdown. All right.